Hey everybody, so this is a bit of an experiment. First time I've done a live YouTube video using Ecamm Live software. I've done a few live coding sessions recently using Crowdcast. I really enjoyed doing it. A few people watched, so that's cool. But I just want to try a different platform, see if YouTube's better or worse, try out a few things, and then I'll make a decision on which to use. Probably try Facebook Live as well, see what that's like. So today I am going to just be working on the same site that I was working on before. You can see it in the background. So the client's called Cheerful 21st, and really lovely design that they've given us. I want to build. Oh, let me just fiddle about with things for a second, just so I get everything in place. It's going to be a bit noisy as well, but hopefully you don't mind a bit of that. So let me just grab the designs as well. I'll just pull them into this window so you can see what I'm talking about. So I've been given these designs in Adobe XD, and I'm just building them out really. Made good progress so far. I'll just quickly take you through the site. So homepage, not quite finished yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. If we go back to the top, it's a little bit slow whenever you're streaming, which is a bit of a pain. It's a bit janky and slow. There's an about page. I'll just quickly load that up. So I've built a bunch of the page templates already. It's come together really nicely. Oh, it's so slow. So slow when you're streaming. Interesting. Yeah, that's something to look at. Don't know how I'll fix that. But again, got another page template done here. And it's come together well. So the challenge for me is that this is the first time I've kind of fully embraced the Gutenberg editor to build the theme. Like up to now, I've been using advanced custom fields and like repeatable fields and things like that. And then we transitioned to the ACF Gutenberg system, and that was okay. But I really, Gutenberg is the future of WordPress editing. So if I'm going to be a WordPress developer, I need to get on board. So I'm using this project to learn as much as I can about building themes with Gutenberg, and it's been good and bad. Some really cool stuff and some really frustrating stuff. So I think what I'll do is I'll do some videos about some of the cool stuff I found actually. Things like adding color palettes, changing the size of the editor in the back end, just all the little useful, interesting things I found working with Gutenberg so far. But for now, I'm going to pick a template that I haven't actually even started yet and see what we can do. This should be, hopefully, fingers crossed, famous last words, but the contact page I'm hoping is going to be kind of easy enough because I've done a lot of the work, I think, that's going to help me create this page. I don't know the best way to kind of organize my screens, so I'm just showing you my laptop window here. I've got two big monitors here, but I didn't really want to screen share on big monitors because it might be difficult to see. There's Adobe XD taking absolutely ages, probably because all my bandwidth is being used up by streaming, even though I do have some good fast broadband. So anyway, while that's doing its thing, let's create a new page. This might be painfully slow. Yeah, it really is. It really is slow. Let's have a few things working at once, and then we can flick back and forward. It's probably also I've probably got way too many apps open too. Let me just shut down Sketch. Don't think I need that open. Probably do need most of these other ones open, to be fair. Yeah. That is still loading. Insane. Okay, let's let that do its thing for a minute. So this is going to be the contact page. And then I'm going to start writing with the block editor here. Here we go. So I'm going to grab this text straight out of XD. And I'm going to just paste it in there as a paragraph. Let's go and have another look at it. Okay, so it's 2 paragraphs. So let's just add a little break in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to my load up YouTube in another window just to make sure this is actually working properly, because I haven't actually tested if this is streaming properly yet. Let's go to the High Rise Digital channel. Okay, flip back over here. So obviously the text for that is pretty big. So one of the things I've done is I've set like custom font sizes. Oh, that's annoying. I can't edit both of them at the same time. There you go, Gutenberg. There's another thing to fix. So I think I want to be the XL size. But, and I'm just going to publish this so that we have a page to reference. I could preview, but I like publishing. Okay. Cool. So view page. Ooh, look. I mean, that's not bad already, right? Interesting, they want this underline on this link. So it's a little bit inconsistent in the design. Some links are red, some are underlined, some aren't. So I think I'm probably going to get back to the client about that. But if I did want to make that underlined, is there an option for underlined text? I could probably do it directly in the editor, couldn't I? Just with HTML. Not that I really want to. Oh, maybe it's not even a link. Let's make that a link. And this should also be a link. We're going to make that a tell link. So it's going to be tell. And then I think I've got to take out spaces and things. But I can test that later. Let's just update that page. Refresh that and see what the link does. Yeah, so it turned that red. And they might not want that. And in that case, I think we can actually set the color of the link itself. So I could say that. And then let's just see if that's going to override the red. It is. So those are links that don't have a hover state or anything at the minute. And they don't have the underline. But I'm going to talk to the client about that, because we just need these to be consistent, really. It's not good if interactive elements are all different on a website. So we can get back to the client with that. Let's go back to this. Okay, so this next section could be interesting. So we've got a address here, and we've got some kind of actions. So let's just get all this text in. This probably isn't going to be the best way to do it, but I'm just going to copy this text in to start with. Find us. That's going to be a little heading. Work with us is going to be a heading. What's the next heading? Is it the press and media inquiries? Yeah. Press and media inquiries is going to be a heading. And then follow us is going to be a heading. That is going to be interesting. Okay, let's start. So I think these headings are going to be level 4 headings. Let me just check. I'll just do it on one before I do it on them all, because I don't want to waste loads of time. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that looks about right, doesn't it? Yeah. Great, text feels straight. Interestingly, how big is that? 28. So I think I've got a font size specifically for that, and I think it is medium font size. So let's just go heading, level 4, and these font sizes are one of the special kind of tweaks I made, and I'll do this in another video to show you how I did that. Wasn't too hard. But I've got these custom font sizes, and one of the things I wanted to do is I didn't want them to be in pixels, so actually these are rem units, which works really well. It was a bit fiddly, to be completely honest, but for me, probably worth it. That's interesting, that character. It's probably an easier way to do this than I was expecting, which is great. And then, so we're just converting all these to headings. Heading 4, this paragraph will all to be medium text. I think the same for this. Right, let's just see what that looks like. Let's give that an update. Let's see what that looks like. So I've already done a lot of the theme development in terms of like typography rules and stuff like that. That's looking pretty good. Let's just have a little look at the design. So what is wrong with it? There's some spacing problems. So we want a bit more space under this. And this has been the big challenge with this project is space. There is a little spacer block, but I really don't like using it. I think once we actually fix that top gap here, if we can fix that, I actually think that gets us a long way. Can I just add in like an empty line return? It's a bit ugly, but let's see if that just works. See if that works. No, it doesn't. Do I need like a non-breaking space in there or something? Something to look at in a minute. So it didn't like that. So maybe I'm going to have to add a spacer block, but these are horrible. So this is another one of the things I've done. So I can just set a height in pixels here. I might just do that. I would normally measure this much more carefully. And I can show you actually how I do that. Oh, that's interesting. So it's not taking that, it's just, oh, it's setting it to XL. So if I set it to default, so these are my custom, these are my custom spacers, and they're responsive. So XL gives 220 pixels at desktop and 146 on the kind of mobile sizes, etc., etc. I think I want default and see if that actually just grabs that, because I just want the 20 this time, just to test if it works. So let's give that a little refresh. Yeah, that's a bit better. Nice, it's getting there. We need some line breaks here. So that's just shift and return. And is that on the one line? Yeah, it is. Send your CV to. Let's see, does that wrap? Doesn't. I wonder if they actually specifically want that to wrap. Let's do it. And that would be a link as well. So I'll just click link. And it knows. Ooh. Nearly said it knows it's an email address, but it clearly doesn't. There you go. So make that a mail to. Same with this one. Why did it not automatically make the mail to like that? Interesting. That's what I wanted. Something just happened. There you go. And then these are all going to be links as well. I'm just going to leave them for now, and this one's going to be a link too. So I'll just update that. And again, like in the design, the links aren't obvious. You know, they're not styled differently. So that is the case here. So these are linking. These ones aren't because I didn't add links to that yet. And subscribe, enter your email will be a link as well. So there's some space at the bottom here that we want before the footer. So let's just have a look at that. This could be a good use for one of our responsive spacers. So I'll just create a new block. I'll type spacer / spacer, hit enter, go to styles, click small. Might actually be a medium. Let's try that instead. Refresh. We've got a bit of space there. Let's see how much they want. They actually probably want a little bit more than that, but I don't know if large is going to be too big. I'm pretty sure that they'll be happy with one of these. and they'll be able to control that. And if I need to add a new spacing size, I think that's pretty good, isn't it? So here's a little trick I want to show you. So I installed a little app a while ago called Pixel Snap, and that allows me to type Command Shift F, and it gives me this, and I can just grab dimensions anywhere on the screen. So I've got like 120 pixels of vertical space there, and comparing that to here, which we've got to be careful because we want to make sure that's at 100%. So comparing that to here, let's see how close we got. So that's 160 something. So we're 40 pixels out. We could actually add another spacer because I think I've got a 40 pixel spacer. Although I kind of think that that's going to be all right. But let's just see. I do. Double spacers. Don't like spacers. I mean, you can see why they're useful. Let's get Pixel Snap open again. 150. I think that's probably close enough at this point. Again, this will be reviewed by the client, and they can have a look and see if they're happy with the spacing. But look at that, like that was pretty impressive, really. Gutenberg allowed me to do that. I mean, there's nothing really extraordinary in there, but once I've had the site theme set up, like it's allowing me to put pages like that together really quite quickly. So that's good. So let's go. We'll kind of give that a small tick for now, and let's go and see if there's any other interesting page templates to play with. There's contact nav overlay. I've kind of done most of. So a post page. Let's just have a look at what our post pages look like at the minute. Just going to zoom out again so I can fit this on the screen. Okay, so it starts with a massive image. Then we've got a title. Then we've just got some, this is just dummy text at the minute. And then a back to insights. So they're calling their blog posts insights. So let's just see. Some crazy sirens going on outside. Let's just grab, I don't know if I've got this image, so hey, usually it lets me grab the assets of a page. Download. And I'm going to just grab the title. So I'm pretty sure that if I add this image in, got to go and unzip it. XD gives you like a big version and a small version. Where's my Finder window? There it is. I'm going to drag the big version in. I like working with the biggest image sizes that I can. It might sound crazy from a performance point of view, but I like letting WordPress deal with the performance. So if I have like a really nice high-res image, I tend to use it, and then let WordPress's image sizes and responsive images kind of do the hard work. And there's great image optimization plugins as well. So you can never scale an image back up. So if you've cropped it way down to like, I don't know, 2,000 pixels wide, and one day in the future you need like a 3,000, 4,000 pixel wide version, maybe internet speeds are really high, storage costs are really low, we're all on super mega high res devices, then you might want to do that. So hence I always use big images. So this image is just kind of like the full width of the content area. So I don't think I need to do anything. I think it's going to be like that automatically. Now, let's just quickly, let's just hit a preview and see what happens. I do quite like this little animation. Okay, so it is showing this title. I think I'm actually gonna potentially remove that and let them add the title where they want to. A lot to think about with this. Oh, I've just noticed as well that that image isn't properly aligned. Let's just add some more content in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that title. I think I'm going to add another title in here. Oh, it doesn't let me add an H1. Ha! That's quite clever. Oh, it does over here. I was going to say that's quite clever in a way, but there you go. They actually do let you do it. And I'm going to start adding some just of the dummy text here. In fact, that is the same 3 paragraphs over and over. That's all right. Publish it this time. This is all local development, so I've got like a .test domain name here. Yeah, let's view it, and let's close that, and let's close the contact page because we're not really worried about it anymore. Okay, some interesting stuff going on here. So the paragraphs are correct in that they are lining up with the grid correctly. This H1 isn't, and I just wonder, this isn't going to be a final solution by any means, but I'm just going to use a H2 in there and just see, because I think that'll bring it in line, and which will just mean that I haven't styled up, yeah it does, I haven't styled up H1s in the right way, so let's make that an H1 again, and then we can actually do some development, rather than just faffing around in Gutenberg. Although I think faffing around in Gutenberg is the new future. Okay. Code time. Let's tidy this all up. Boom. Right. Tidy things up a little bit here. Okay. So I have a type file in my SAS, and I am guessing that somewhere, not here, for some reason, type. I'm missing something. Where is my H2? Oh, it's there. Entry content, H2. There is something going on here. I've forgotten how I've done it. Let me just see what's happened to the H2 and where that style's coming from. And then we'll try to apply something similar to the H1. Because I think this is, I'm using neat grids. Hate me all you want, but I like them. So neat is a grid system by the people at Thoughtbot, who also created the Bourbon mix-in library. It's probably not the most modern, but I like it. It works well for me. I've used it for a very long time. Here we go. Entry content H2, width. This is the grid styling. And it must be coming from this, font style extra large, which is in base. Could be in variables, could be in typography. Font style extra large. Not. So what I'm looking for is include column. Forgot my own code. Live coding's fun, isn't it? Live coding is fun. Extend font style extra large. Font size, line height, margin. I do remember, like, it's got no idea. I'll just do a search for it in a minute if I can't find it. Entry content H2. I've just got to track that back. Got to track that back. And I'm pretty sure it's entry content. But it's not in there. Right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to search. Style. Layout. Not very well organized. Not very well organized code. But there you go. I'm not going to bore you to death with reorganizing my code base. I'll have to do that at some point though. So what I'm going to do as well is, because I've got gulp running and browser sync and stuff like that, I'm just going to go across to my localhost here, and this will update for us live. Hooray! So that should be an H1. It is. And it's lined up properly with the grid. Good! We made it! We made it! We made it! Okay. I think I'm going to need to add some default spacing above the footer, because I don't want to be adding silly spacers every time. But interestingly, if there's a section at the footer at the bottom that has a group, as in a background color, then I'm not going to want to do that. That's something that I've covered in other videos. This is interesting too. I know that Mark did the back end for this, and it was showing up on pages where I didn't want it, and now I do want it. So I'm going to have to add that back in. I can't remember exactly how I removed it, but I'm going to have to add that back in. So let's just have a quick, it's the wrong size. I know this is going to have some negative side effects. I'm just going to have to fix those. Oops, wrong shortcut. So it's like the 160 pixel size again. So let's just code that in, so we're not doing that in Gutenberg all the time. That would be a total pain. I'm just going to do it. I say it was. Forgotten already. It's like 160 or something. Yeah, it's about 160. So it's going to be 16 rem. And generally, spacing seems to be halved on mobile. So this is my kind of media query mix-in. So a medium screen size, which I set somewhere else. It's going to be 160 pixel top margin, and below that screen size, it will be half that. So that should have updated automatically on here, or it will be. There we go. That's much better. We don't want to have to do that to the bottom of every page, to the bottom of every blog post, etc. So that's looking good. Now we need to style that up. So there's various ways to do this. Again, with this site, there's lots of different kind of headings, but this one is pretty big. So it's a 50 pixel, it's red, so it's a little bit different. So I think if I set, let's try to find the appropriate, I think I'll set it in here probably, font style extra large. So it is in entry content. So let me just, so I've got CTF purple there for H2, so this will be red. I'm just going to see what happens. I don't know why it's doing a full refresh. Maybe I need to restart Gulp. It's doing a full reset instead of injecting it. So what font size is that? H1, 50 pixels. So 5 rem, which is 50 pixels. We can look over on somewhere else. Computed. It's there. It's been visible. Yeah, font size 50 pixels. So that's correct. Looks a lot bigger there, doesn't it? Is that because this is shrunk down? Yeah, it's 70%. That's why. And then at 100%, it's a kind of 50 pixel gap. So I've got to get that right somehow as well. Let's get this off the device view so it's full size. And just notice the font isn't right either. Okay, so it's a bit too much. So what is the margin being set there? 1 rem, so 10 pixels. Interesting. And the other thing I'm just going to do, font style extra large, I'm going to just say, I've got a variable called heading font family, and that should make it Proxima Nova bold, or at least Proxima Nova should be bold. Is that the right font? Let me see. Proxima Nova bold, it is. Let's just double check that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's looking pretty tight. Not bad. Let's just see what the... And so interestingly, on this page, it's slightly different than other pages. Again, consistency on this site is difficult. The design is, I don't want to say the design's inconsistent because it's not. It's lots of consistency, but there's little variations. Like this is, it's probably a slightly narrower column, mind you. It's partly because of that. If I make that full width, honest outline of who we are. So how far? Oh, that's spot on. That's perfect. Perfect line length there. According to the design. So this is starting to come together. I know it's a very, very simple page, but it's starting to come together nicely. So we've got an H1 down here now, so we don't need this one. And actually, I want to give the client control over what the H1 is, where it goes, etc., etc. There are, semantic, SEO concerns with this, but that is not my call at this point. The design is the way it is. So we've got an entry header on, and I'm just going to hide that on single posts. So I'm going to do that in my templates directory, new file, single post, .css. Spelled single wrong, didn't I? Not that it actually matters, but let's not do that. So obviously in WordPress we've got post template default. Let's just put single body class of single post up here. So I can just use that dot single post dot entry header display none. Okay, something not quite right about that image. It's not wide enough. That's better. That's better. Okay, like that. I've also got, I added, there are some image alignments, so you can go full width and wide width as well with it, but this one is contained within the kind of content area. It's so difficult working on a small screen like this. But there you go. I just need the back to insights added back in, and then that'll be all good. So that is nearly done, that kind of template, and we should be able to add most of the standard Gutenberg blocks and things, which will be really, really handy. So just flicking back to the design for a minute. So what I'm trying to do at this stage is just get as much of the site as possible together before I get into the nitty-gritty details, because I was worried that this new approach for me, I would get into the details, spend a lot of time getting everything looking just right, but then something would come along down the line that would mean I have to scrap the way I was handling layouts or containers or whatever. So I've just tried to throw together a lot of the templates kind of as quickly as possible, with the idea that I'll come back and fix things a bit later. And I think that's going to work. So this is interesting. So here's a page that doesn't have a title, unless legal is the title. It should really be legal and privacy. So that's the legal section, that's the privacy section. I know these H2s or H1s. This is the kind of design before semantics question. So I might need to talk to the client about this page. The fact that they're not showing page titles does bother me a little bit on all their pages. For example, if I go to the About page, there's no page title there. And what I've done on this page is I've actually hidden that in a kind of screen reader accessible way. So hopefully it's still as accessible as possible, so people using screen readers and assistive technologies will land on that page and know what the page title actually is, because the page title isn't "We're a London-based full-service creative agency that specializes in live events, moving image, yada yada yada." It's the page title is about us. So it's important to consider these things whenever you're building a site. Okay, so I think I've made some half-decent progress there. Let's just quickly go back. No, I haven't done loads and loads of coding. So yeah, let's think about this. Let's start to try to build this page then. Pages, add new. Luckily, this all seems to be a little bit faster at the minute, which is great. Just sending a message to my business partner, Mark. Okay, so this is called legal and privacy. And I think what I'm going to have to do is just make this its own. How did I copy that? So I'll make that a heading. I think that's going to be an H2. Let's just see. And legal and privacy will be a hidden accessible title. What font size is this? It's 22, which is the kind of smaller font size. Oh, interesting, we've got some bold here, some regular. Okay, so where are those line breaks? After April 21st, and then company registration, registered address, VAT registration. Company registration, were they proper paragraph breaks? Yes. Registered address, VAT registration. And then these were bold, weren't they? Oh. Should the colon be bold? I don't know. Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it? Let's boldify those as well. Lovely jubbly. What's that look like? Let's have a look. Okay. Why is there such a big gap between the paragraphs? Sure, that's not right. I'm sure that's not right. Again, let's just publish this page. Let's view the page. Oh no, not in this browser. Not in this window. In this one. We can make use of our refreshing, or gulp refreshing. Let's load it back up. Okay. But that's better. That's better. Okay. What's next? So that's going to be another H2. Going to hit transform to heading, automatically selects H2. And these are going to be some paragraphs, lots of paragraphs. Let's just dump all that in. I'm not going to add all the line breaks and correct paragraphs. It's going to be a horrific big block of text. One interesting thing though is that there are some bullet points in here, I think. And it would be just interesting to make sure that those bullet points do actually render properly as a list. Let's see if I can find them all. Right, what happens if I select? Where does the list end? Data portability, and then you have the right to lodge. You have the right to lodge a complaint. You also have a right to lodge a complaint if you think this video is terrible. If you are watching this, I know there's no one watching it live. I haven't promoted it, but if you end up watching this and you have any questions or whatever, please let me know. I'd really like to hear from you. And if you think you might like more of this kind of content, feel free to follow the channel, and you'll get notified whenever there's some new live content. How long have we been streaming for now? Let's have a look. Does it say? Yeah, 43 minutes. Okay, I'll probably call it a day soon. We need a bit of space in there, don't we? Responsive spacer to the rescue. Styles. Don't know. Should have measured it. It's more, isn't it? I need one of the bigger ones. It's quite a lot of space. 180, which we don't have, but let's go 120. Let's use that one. Oh, I need to sort my posture out. You can see myself in the video hunched. It's pretty good. What's not good? 50 pixels. It's probably it is 50 pixels. We just want that regulations to sneak onto that next line. But you know what? That could be just a screen size thing. Hasn't quite rendered that exactly as I'd want it to, but there you go. But, you know, there's another page. Lists are looking okay. There's a bit of a big gap there, which I don't like. I'm going to have to change the default spacing of my lists. Yeah, that shouldn't be like that. So I can do that. I've actually used some styling from a previous project, which is what's going on there. Do you know what? I'm not really using base spacing properly, so I'm just going to say 1 rem. So I tend to be using rems. That tightens it up a bit. It might not be perfect. The thing is, this design wasn't designed with Gutenberg in mind. You know, it's not, and the ways that it'll be edited, which is totally fine. A designer, you know, in some ways shouldn't have to think about things like that, but we do when we're building the site. So sometimes there has to be, I think, a little bit of compromise. I was trying to look at this page. Your rights in connection with. Let's just make that its own paragraph, and this is its own paragraph. I just want to kind of just see that the spacing looks generally okay. I think it will. Don't want big gaps where there shouldn't be. I kind of want consistent gaps. I'm not sure that's still consistent, and I bet it's because an LI has some top. It does. LI already has that, and actually that's wrong too. What I might, because I'm just going to test this out with the list just not having any. So the list itself doesn't have any. The LI has 1M, which I don't want. I want a 1 rem. And then that should tighten it up really nicely. It did. Before it did the refresh there, it did it. So that's actually a lot more consistent now. The only thing is the gaps in between aren't right, and this is a problem with collapsing margins. So the way I've built this theme means that margins between paragraphs aren't collapsing, and between block elements basically. So because a paragraph is a block and a list is a block, those margins don't collapse. So I have to halve the margin and apply it to each block, but they are being applied here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that list items have bottom margin and no top margin. What's that look like? I think that should fix it, but then I need to fix that top one again because we don't have the double on the top of here now. Oh, it's so fiddly. And that's going to be too much at the bottom, so we don't want. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So now there's this consistent rhythmical spacing. That's perfect. That's a good place to leave it, that little win. So I've really enjoyed just recording this, recording my thoughts and process. I hope somebody gets some good value from this. And if you have watched, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I'd love to just start a conversation with you. What do you think about editing with Gutenberg? What do you think about developing themes with Gutenberg? What questions do you have? What advice do you have for me if you're sitting there thinking, you're doing it all wrong? Let me know why in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for future videos like this. It would be great to see you next time. And now I've just got to figure out how to finish my broadcast, and wish you all a very good day. See you soon. Bye.